We all know that One Piece is the king of foreshadowing future events, and I'm going to try my best to list out as many as I can. And yes, I know the One Piece community likes to use the word foreshadowing for everything, but I'm not going to do that here. Okay, so let's start off with the things that were straight up told to us, like Sanji being born in the North Blue and being part of Germa. He said that he was born in the North Blue back in Jaya, and even before that, he mentions to Zoro how he knows about ships going up the mountains, which are the Germa's ship. And then we have him calling himself Mr. Prince. And one more thing that you definitely missed that foreshadowed him being a part of Germa is having the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia. And mind you, only 2 people have used this, which is him and Blackbeard. We're not sure how Blackbeard got his, but we can say that Sanji got his from his dad, cause he's a scientist who also worked with Dr. Vegapunk, who researches Devil Fruit. Okay, moving on, do you remember this little flashback that Momo had back in Punk Hazard?
No.
Well, guess what? A few hundred chapters later, we figured out that was Kaido. No wonder Momo was traumatized. Okay, talking about Kaido, we all know that epic entrance he made in his dragon form. Well, guess what? That was foreshadowed as well. See, way back in Punk Hazard, we see Kiyomon repeatedly kicking this dragon out of anger. And rightfully so, because it was a dragon that killed Oden. And by the way, talking about Oden, did you know that we've actually seen him hundreds of chapters before Wano even started? Wait, what? Where? I'll tell you, but first, please subscribe. I would be so very thankful. Okay, to answer your question, we've seen Oden back in Thriller Bark, or at least what's left of him. He even got patched up where he got shot. Okay, since we're here in Thriller Bark, I'm going to tell you all the things that you've missed out, and also all the things that foreshadowed future events. Like where Kaido lives, which also tells us which arc he would be in. See, Moria mentions that he lost against Kaido, and not long after, he steals the corpse of Ryuma and Oden. And where do you think these 2 were buried? Yes, in Wano. So we could have figured out Kaido was in Wano even before the time skip. And the other things that were mentioned were Lola's mom being a great pirate from the New World, which happens to be Big Mom, another emperor, and we have Boa Hancock being name dropped for the first time. Now talking about name drops, Jinbei was name dropped years before his introduction. And the same goes with Dr. Vegapunk. But did you also know that his design was teased to us back in Punk Hazard, and even before that in NL's cover story? And yes, it's a stretch to say that these 2 are connected, but looking at all these spaceships, I think they are. Okay, let's dial back to early One Piece, back in the East Blue, back when the show didn't even have full screen, and Shanks looked like this. Did you know that Axe and Morgan and Captain Kuro had a connection? No, not that time. Well, you see, in Captain Kuro's flashback, it was actually Axe and Morgan that survived and was made to believe that he captured Captain Kuro, and this is the reason he got promoted in the first place. Okay, moving forward a bit to the Water 7 saga, we all know that the Aqua Laguna was a major plot point in Water 7, but I bet you didn't know that it was being set up back in Long Ring Longland. Tanjit, which is this guy, mentions about the low tides that happens once a year. And you know what happens when the sea level drops? A massive tsunami occurs, which happens to be the Aqua Laguna. Moving on to Enies Lobby, specifically in Robin's flashback, did you know that Akainu was there as well? He was the one who killed all the civilians. And this was also the first time a Navy ship actually hit something. No wonder he got a promotion. And speaking of Akainu, did you also know that he was mentioned back in G8 arc by Jonathan? Damn, how are you this calm working under Akainu? Okay, let's talk about another hothead, Ace, who failed to keep his promise to Luffy, Tama, and Yamato. A lot of us were surprised when we found out that Ace had been to Wano, but it was already mentioned hundreds of chapters back in Marineford, in Oro's Jr. flashback. Okay, now let's talk about the furries in One Piece, I mean the minks. We never really cared about the humanoid animals like Beppo and Peckham's because every anime has them, but we find out that they are an actual tribe in Zou called the Minks. But guess what? The Mink tribes were already introduced as a race back in Sabaody, in this list right here. And there's another thing that was so casually dropped in this arc, and this thing triggers the whole Emperor saga in the post-time skip. The production of Smiles, the artificial devil fruit.
時代はスマイルさ、スマイル。
By the way, did you also know that Toki's time fruit was foreshadowed back in Zou? Momo said that he was both in Whitebeard and Roger's ship, but Roger died 20 years ago and he's only 8. Okay, for our last entry for today, another special devil fruit, Luffy's human fruit modeled Nika. We had a lot of hints towards his devil fruit not being just rubber, from it being in the hands of a pirate crew that has no devil fruit users, being able to use flamed attacks like Ace underwater, that's no haki, and being able to transform like Zoan users. Name me one Paramecia user that can do that. Okay, that's the end of the video. I'm new here, so I would really like it if you would subscribe, like, comment. Okay, bye.